Everybody, Dave here, Hidden Freedom Investing. In today's video, we're going to go over my dividend portfolio update for the month of August. August is in the books. We are in September now. We're going to look at the dividend mountain, see if there's any progress made there. We're going to look at the buys and the sells, the dividend increases, all the dividends received for the month of August. Look at the projections for the rest of the year and also into 2021 as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're looking at the agenda for August. Obviously we're in September, but this is the August agenda. So we just saw Dividend Mountain, not a lot of progress there. Today's decline really doesn't matter because that's not really counted in there. But there's not a lot of progress there because the capital only goes up so much. The dividends get, reinvested only so much, but there's a little bit of news. We'll talk about that here in the second bullet point. So number two, we have, let's see, a little bit of news, and I kind of mentioned that in Wednesday's video. So the news is I have another real estate note that's going to be getting paid back early. I believe they're closing on it. Well, this video is going to come out on Saturday, so I believe they're closing on Friday, so that would be September 4th. And maybe worst case scenario, it might close next week. That note is getting paid back roughly about 9 months, 8 months early. And there's a prepayment penalty on there of about $4,200 left or so. And because of the special situation with this particular investor, I decided to split that prepayment penalty with them. And the fiduciary called me out of the blue this week and said, hey, can you work with him? And so I said, hey, I'll split the difference with him. So we're going to just split the difference. That means I'll get paid about $2,000 extra to get this money back early. And I'm okay with that. So it'll be about $76,000. And that will go into the dividend portfolio. So that will increase my dividend portfolio up to $350,000-$70,000, somewhere around there. I haven't really looked at it yet, but today's decline didn't help. But so that is part of the news. If you haven't seen the real estate notes video that I did, go ahead and take a look at that video here. I had quite a bit of net worth in there, over $600, almost $700,000 at one point. Two notes have gotten paid back, one just a few months ago, and now this one came out of the blue, which is okay. I'm actually okay with that, matter of fact, but I'd rather them get paid back slowly as they're, or get bled off slowly, but I'm not gonna really, balk at this. I'll just, reinvest it in the dividend stocks, over the next few months or so. With, that news of that real estate note getting paid off, I had about, $15,000 to $20,000 I needed to get still invested as it was from the last one getting paid off. So I went ahead and started putting that money to work and starting to draw that money down because I'm going to have another big chunk of money coming into my account soon. So, and that brings up to the second point here of VYM. There's a little bit of a direction change that we're going to talk about here. So we'll just, keep note of that VYM. This is the overview page of the dividend portfolio. We just had a huge wreck today. Today is September 3rd, Thursday. I always record these on Thursdays because it just takes that much time to edit and render for Friday to get it posted up. So yeah, that was a pretty substantial decline today. Luckily, the overall market was down, about 3.5% on the day. But, because it's a low beta portfolio, the whole portfolio was only down 2%. So that's, one of the reasons why we like individual stocks that have lower beta, and we can kind of control that as much as we want. $291,000, 572, that is what's going to go on the thumbnail. And let's see here. About $700,000 left to the goal. Like I said, there's gonna be about $75,000 to $76,000 that will be plopped in here over the next few weeks or so. So the next time this video comes out next month, there'll be a jump in the thumbnail and there'll be a jump in the portfolio free cash available. So right now, free cash available is $7,057, and that's a substantial decline from where that was last month because, like I said, I need to get that money invested because I'm gonna get another chunk chunk of cash that's not invested. And right now we're sitting at a average yield on cost about let's say 365, and we got a weighted dividend yield of 3.38. It's a little bit lower than what I want, but the CAGR is still above 8%. I've been working on that to get it above 8%, so I'm pretty happy with that. Overall, right now we are up over almost $21,000 on this dividend portfolio since I started it back in just January, I believe it was. So you notice here, number of positions have been decreased a little bit, 34 positions. So let's go ahead and talk about that next here. So here we are looking at the dividend portfolio, and the positions have been reduced down to 34 because we take that 36 minus these two up here, we come down to 34 positions. I did remove a couple of positions, and I'm sure inquiring minds want to know. So let's go and take a look at that real quick. If you want to see me reach $1,000 of monthly dividend income, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. So here are the two positions that I cut out of the portfolio. So we cut PPL, we cut Travelers, and I cut those pretty much flat. So it was a $63 profit and only $3 profit. So I cut out PPL and cut out Travelers. I took PPL and invested that money into Duke and a little bit of money into Southern as well. Travelers, I don't remember where I stuck that. It might have been Coke, and it might have been a little bit of Intel as well. But those are the two positions I cut, which actually would have brought the positions down to 33, but I did buy VYM, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. But before I do, let's talk about the rest of the dividend portfolio. So looking back at the dividend portfolio here, these are filtered off of least, or graded least to greatest. So right now we do have Chevron and ExxonMobil being the least allocated stocks in my portfolio. And let me look at this, 33% down on ExxonMobil. That is the biggest decliner that I have in my portfolio as well. We kind of talked about, I did a separate video on Apple just to talk about it. I was up over 100 and something percent, but that big decline today of 8% really hurt me, but I'm still up over 99%. And the biggest stock in the portfolio now is VYM. It was Microsoft until recently, but I bought VYM, and we're going to talk about that just in a second. But we're going to look at the dividend increases, if there was any, and it does not look like there was any dividend increases for the month of August, so we won't really talk about that because there is none. So let's talk about the VYM then. So let's talk about the VYM. So why did I go with the VYM? Why do I have $27,000 in VYM? And why did I reduce, a lot of the capital I had up here and put that in VYM? So part of the thinking is because that I sell covered calls, and I was having trouble getting some premium out of these smaller stocks like SYY and PFE and Coke and all those. Look at, it was a 15-day hold for $7. It was, let's see, what's Coke here? 14-day hold for $9. We had SYY, Cisco, 23-day hold for $15. It's not bad. It does add up, but the thinking is I can go to straight VYM, cover a lot of these smaller stocks, and reduce the amount of work that it takes. So VYM here, I sold one. It was 15 days. There's 24 days total. It's only 15 days left on it. And I got $15 out of it. So what I can do is I can stick a lot more capital into VYM and reduce a lot of these smaller positions and put the capital in VYM. I only have to deal with one stock to sell covered calls on then. So that's part of the thinking there. And obviously looking at VYM here, it has a pretty decent yield, right? So the yield is, my yield on cost is about 3.77. It's at 3.79. So 3.7%, that is above my, required about 3.5. It does have a decent CAGR as well. So the 5-year dividend CAGR is about 8.29%. Plus it has, a pretty good capital appreciation on it as well. So part of the thought process is to start reducing some of these smaller positions like SYY eventually, Pfizer eventually, maybe Coca-Cola. You know, they're still sitting at 100 shares, but probably render some profits out of those and then start moving some of those smaller positions over to VYM and start selling covered calls on just VYM. Because trying to manage 33 positions was taking a lot of work. Yes, you could probably go out to monthlies or something like that, reduce the work, but it's just a lot more work than what I want to deal with, and I kind of realized that going forward. You know, when you got a lot of capital in here, you know, this is going to build up to $1 million eventually once those notes bleed off. And that's going to be a lot of work. I'm not going to get rid of a lot of these other core holdings in here. I'm not going to get rid of Microsoft. I'm not going to get rid of Chase. I'm not going to get rid of, you know, Johnson & Johnson. Definitely not getting rid of Johnson & Johnson. And, you know, some of these other positions here, I'm not going to get rid of either. But I am going to draw some of them down and actually get rid of a couple positions as well. But I will be drawing some of these other ones down, taking some of the capital out of those, or running some profits, and then sticking it in VYM. These things down here are, I ran an audit against VYM, against the stocks that I actually had, and those stocks there don't exist in VYM, so I'm not going to be getting rid of those for sure. So that's the thought process on that. It's mostly just for covered calls, and you know, just to reduce the amount of work it's going to take, because I'm going to be traveling a lot when I fire, right? And it's just, I need something that's pretty easy to deal with. You deal with monthlies, it's 12 times a year, and it's a lot easier to deal with that than trying to deal with 30 something positions and selling covered calls. So that's the thought process there. Here are the stocks that got bought for August, and just like last month, there's a little bit misleading here because there was stocks that got sold off, so that technically needs to be subtracted from the $43,000. But in general, if I added all these up, that is the amount of capital they actually invested, you know, even with some of the sells, you know, like the Travelers and the PPL, those went into Duke and it went into Southern and all that. So, you know, this should add up to $43,000, but just know that it wasn't the actual amount that I totally invested with fresh capital. I guess I could take, you know, the fresh capital or the free capital I have now and subtract it from last month, but I don't have that in front of me, so I won't calculate it out. But this just gives you an idea that yes, I did deploy quite a bit of capital into VYM and Microsoft. We talked about that a little bit. So we talked about the stock spot for August. Let's look at the stock allocation here, see if that changed. And here's the allocation for the month of August. Obviously, information technology that's sitting at almost 24%. That's probably why the tech wreck today hurt me a little bit, because I am 25%, 24% into tech. You know, consumer staples, I've been trying to reduce that a little bit, but that is where I get some defensive plays from, so I'm okay with that where it is. I'm just trying to render a little bit of those profits off from some of those smaller companies and sticking in VYM, which is kind of a wash really in a way, but because if some of those smaller stocks are actually down, then VYM is probably down as well. Materials is a little low, probably work on maybe getting that up a little bit. Real estate to where it needs to be. Let's see here. Energy actually has pretty surprisingly, it was up today. We had a tech wreck that caused pretty much everything to roll over except for ExxonMobil was green. It's like, oh, okay, what's going on there, you know? I'm not complaining, but it's just interesting. Healthcare, probably get that up. Financials is very low, you know. I mean, I should get a little bit of money into JPM, but so that's where the allocation sits out for the month of August. Not too big of a change there from last month. So here are the dividends received for the month of August, and we received one on Verizon for $68. We went on, let's see, AT&T, $110. That's a biggie. I like that one. ADP.
Geez, I get those two mixed up all the time. I'm dyslexic over here.
APD, $24.22. We got Apple received at $20. Realty Income, we love that one too. It's a monthly payer for us. It's $28 received. We got another one on CL here at $27.90. AbbVie at $62.44. PG, another defensive play there, $51.74. And we got CAT here, Cadillac Converters. I mean, that's CAT. There's no Cadillac Converters on CATs, are there? So $54.89, and we got S-Bucks there at $24 for a total. We received 10 total dividends of $474. That's not a big month, but it's something, right? It all averages out, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But $474, I'm definitely not complaining about that. If you want to see me reach $1,000 of monthly dividend income, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to run an update on the dividends received and just update the spreadsheet. Look at the dividend meter here. It should go up. It should update with another $474. So let's go run that. And there's the dividend meter going up. Received that $474, and there we go. So let's go ahead and look at the dividend received here, and that script just writes across this line for the month of August for all the dividends received. It should equal 474, and it does. So that's good. We're up to 2588 year to date. And if we just look at the rest of the dividend charts here, here's the month by month. We got the 474 here. And then we got the dividends by quarter and Q3. Let's see, I think Q3 is over with, right? September, October, November. Maybe we have a little bit more left. Maybe September counts in there. So I think there's one more month in Q3. So $1,749 received for Q3. Let me see, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, there's one more month that goes in there, so that's gonna be a pretty big quarter for me. And then dividends by year, 2588. Like I said, last year really wasn't a dividend focused year, so it's a pretty substantial increase. And then we got the dividends by ticker here. I'm not going to really talk about that, but that's just a percentage of the dividends received by the tickers. Options income. So the options income I did on a video on Wednesday. I received over $400 something in options income for the month of August. It wasn't a big month, but at the same time, it wasn't really aggressive either. But if you want to take a look at that video, go and take a look at the video up here. I'm not going to include it in these videos because it just takes too much time. It would make this video too long, and these videos are already long enough as it is. So here we are looking at the dividend projections, and right now I have it set on 2020. So we just received $474 from August, and then for September, we're looking at, this is gonna be a huge month, over $1,188 I'm looking at for the month of September. That's humongous in my opinion. So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, so that one definitely counts in Q3, so that's gonna be a pretty big quarter for me. And obviously Q4 should even be bigger than Q3, but so yes, 1188. I'm very happy about that. So if we look at the next 12 months here, we're just at about $800 on average per month on dividends. And with that free capital I have coming from that note that's getting paid back, I'm looking at getting this up to $1,000 hopefully within the next month and a half, 2 months or so. $1,000 is a huge milestone for me. I'm looking forward to getting that $12,000 annual and that $1,000 per month. That's humongous. I can't wait for that. So for next 12 months, look at this December 2020 here. That's a 1351, and then we got March 2021. That's another. But all these are going to change, obviously, because I'm going to keep continuing to add capital to the investment as well. If you want to support me, you can go ahead and click on my Amazon link here. I'll put it down in the description. I'll put it in the first comment as well. If you use that link, you don't have to buy the product that's linked there. You can buy any product, and I'll get a small little commission from that from Amazon on qualified purchases. Obviously there's no obligation there. And if you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate that as well. For that, this ends this video. Go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.